This is a high school story. Now, for those of you who don't know, which is hopefully all of you, I went to a very small high school. My graduating class was 50 kids, which meant that I had had a personal interaction with every single student who walked that year. One of these interactions took place around my junior year of high school, towards the end, right before prom. And when I say right before prom, I mean literally the day before prom. Now, I didn't have a boyfriend at this time, and all of my guy friends were really secluded, introverted nerds who wouldn't be caught dead at a school dance, so I wasn't expecting to be asked by anybody, and I had accepted that long before prom was even announced. There was a group of girls amongst my grade who also weren't planning on being asked out, and they had all decided to have a girls' night, and by some miracle, I had been invited to be a part of that group. I was really excited. This was like my first party kind of experience. It was my first big school dance. I kind of avoided all the other dances before this, and I was really looking forward to it. It felt like my first real high school experience. Now, there was one guy in my guy friend group who was trying to convince some of the other guys to go to the dance. We're going to call this friend
Naruto Uzumaki.
So Naruto was kind of the class clown of our friend group. It was kind of a running gag for our friend group that
Naruto
would always ask this one girl to the dance every year, and she always said no. And of course he had asked her to the junior prom, and of course she said no. Because this was prom,
Naruto
didn't give up so easily this time. Normally,
Naruto
would ask out this one girl, she would say no, and then he would end up going to the dance anyway. But this year, he had a whole list of girls that he was trying to ask out, because he didn't want to go to prom alone. So
Naruto
he asked out 3 different girls, and all of them said no. At this point, prom was literally only in a few days, and he had started making plans with some of the more extroverted guy friends in the group and some other guys outside of our group, and so we all kind of thought that was the end of it. My girl group had made all of their plans, I had bought my dress, times and carpools and reservations had all been arranged, and we were finally approaching the night of prom. Friday afternoon during lunch, the day before prom, I was in a meeting with a couple other kids in my grade because we all belonged to the same club.
Naruto
Was also in this club. When the meeting was over, we still had like half of lunch left, and
Naruto
asked if he could talk to me about something related to the club, and he asked if he could pull me outside to look at something. The setup to what's going to happen is pretty obvious. I mean, look at the title of this video. But I swear to you, I did not see this coming.
Naruto
He brings me outside, and then I see he picks up flowers from the ground and says, it was really awkward because he had told me and my friend group that he had asked out these 3 other girls. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I was the 4th girl on his list, and on top of that, he just admitted to me that he didn't want to put any effort into this. Also, because we were in the same friend group, he knew that I was going to prom. I had been talking with my friends about my plans with the girl group, so he already knew I was going. Normally in high school, when a guy asked me out that I didn't want to go to a dance with, I would completely back out of the dance. I would say, oh, I'm busy that night, I can't go, I've got homework, I've got a final, I've got to go to work. But I couldn't do that in this case because he knew I was going. I had bought the ticket that I could not refund. I had bought my dress. I had reservations made with the girls. And he was my friend. I didn't want to say,
No! God, please, no!
because I thought that would make things awkward. I made it clear to him that I already had plans with my girl group, but he just didn't seem to understand why I wasn't willing to walk away from those plans. He asked me if he could come along to the girl dinner night, and I explained to him that nobody was bringing a date and that it would be really uncomfortable for me to invite him all of a sudden. But he just kind of went, oh, okay. He seemed understanding at the time, but later I found out that he went to my guy friend group and complained about me when he was still expecting for me to hang out with him at the dance.
What?
Getting ready was fun, dinner was fun, then we get to the dance. There weren't a whole lot of kids in the room when I arrived because it was still kind of early, but thankfully there was enough of a crowd for me to kind of hide in. I didn't see him when I first got into the room. I saw him later on because he was being creepy and like stalking me all throughout the night from a distance. So I decided if he was gonna be weird and act funky, I was just gonna ignore it and enjoy myself. I was dancing with my friends, hanging out, having a good time, having a good vibe. And then a slow song came on. And by slow song, I mean it was like a weird upbeat remix of like an Ed Sheeran song. So not really a slow song, but you know, enough of one for most of the dance floor to leave and for couples to cling on to each other.
Naruto
Comes up to me and asks, he basically grabbed my hands and set us up in like a tango position with our arms. Now, I had never had a slow dance before, but I could see the people around us and gather that this is not how you do it. Thankfully, the Ed Sheeran remix thing had been cut short, and so I was only standing with him for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Once that song was over, I booked it. I said, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna go get a drink, and I left. The rest of that night, I really didn't hang out with
Naruto?
It was kind of the last time we hung out, to be honest. I don't think it's right to call either of us bad people in this situation because we were so young. It was just a really awkward learning experience, and I'm sure both of us wish we had handled things differently. If you know me in real life, please don't tell me you watched this.